So we're going to start with writing a decimal as a fraction. Okay. So if I have a decimal like this, I have 2 decimal places. Yeah, so that goes over 2 zeros. And then I can reduce it. I'll divide by 2 and divide by 2 to get 13 over 50, which doesn't reduce any further. Okay. If we have a decimal with a whole number component, that stays a whole number. And you have 1 decimal place, so 1 0. And then I can reduce that further by dividing by 2. Rounding. Oh, wrong color. All right, if I want to round a decimal, so let's say to the nearest thousandth, or actually we'll do hundredth. Okay. Yeah, here's my hundredth. So this is the number that I need to look at. This is less than 5. So it would round to 0.63. Here's my hundredth. 9 obviously larger than 5, so it would round to 0.25. Okay, adding decimals. So what I need to do is be sure to line up the decimal, not the numbers. Okay. If you need to, there's an invisible 0 right there. And then add just as normal. Carry down your decimal. Questions on that one? Multiplying decimals. All right, so if I have okay, remember parentheses indicate multiplication. So I'm going to set this up as I would a normal multiplication problem, and I'm going to ignore the decimals until the very end. So I'm just going to multiply this. And then I'm going to add it together. I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places here and none here. So I need 3 decimal places in my product. And if I had had a decimal place here, I would have added, 1 more decimal place. So it's the total number of decimal places. Okay, dividing decimals. Actually, let me change that. Okay. As you know, whatever comes second goes outside. And I cannot actually divide by decimal, so if this has a decimal, I have to move it. So if I move this once, I move this once, and then you bring your decimal straight up. Three goes into 4 once. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 3 goes into 3 once. So my answer is 15.1. Okay, so then we have word problems. I'm going to say a gardener bought 22 plants at $2.93 each. 3 bags of soil at $6.95 each, and 2 bags of compost at $1.33 each. So we want to know how much did she spend, and we're going to pretend tax is non-existent. Okay? Yeah, no taxes. This is one of those special sales they're having, the no sales tax days, you know. All right, so we have 22 plants that cost $2.93 each. 3 bags of soil and 2 bags of compost. Okay. So to get the totals for each of these, we're going to multiply. Two decimal places, so 2 decimal places. And then we have the 2 bags of, oops, we get 3 bags of soil. And then we have the 2 bags of compost. And then the next thing I need to do is add all these. So that's 11 plus 6, so 17. 14 plus 4 is 18, plus 1 is 19. 7, 87, 97. Area of a circle. Our diameter is 10. pi is March 14th. Okay. What's radius? Radius would be 5, so it's half of 10, right? Okay. So then I need to plug that in. So I have 3.14 times 5 squared. So that's 3.14 times 25. Wait, hold on. That's 2, so that makes this 8. So that's 7. And then 2 decimals, so it's 78.5. And then we'll just say that was centimeters, so it's centimeters squared. If I walked 15 miles in 3.5 hours, and we can do this as a ratio. And I want to, if I want to know miles per hour, per 1 hour, that's a unit rate, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to divide so the denominator's easy. So I do that. So I do that. 35 is going to go into 150, not 5 times, but probably 4 times. So that's 140. Add another 0. That's going to be 2. And then that's going to have to add another 0. Let me see, maybe like 8. Yeah, so 8. And I'm going to say to the nearest tenth, so we'll just round that to 4.3. So your speed is 4.3 miles per hour. We've been 162 miles, and we did it in 1.5 hours. Obviously, we are driving, not walking at this point. So it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be division. So I've got 1.5 hours into 162 miles. Well, to move that. 15 goes into 16 once. Goes into 12 no times. Into 120. I'm going to say 6 or oh, no, more than that. You said 8? Yeah, exactly 8. So they were driving 108 miles per hour. And the reason, fraction to decimal, okay, so divide the top by the bottom. So I add 0.0, 5 goes into 30 6 times. So this is just 0.6. Bless you. If you have a mixed number, and something like that, that would actually reduce, but whatever. I'm going to take that fraction, I'm going to ignore the whole number portion for now. Whole numbers are always just whole numbers. So I'm going to divide the fraction to get that decimal part. 15 goes into 32 times, so that's 0.2, so this is equal to 2.2.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
what that's what it was.
Whole numbers stay whole numbers. So let's do like 1 and 2/5. Okay, I'm going to go 5 into 2, so that's 0.4, so it's 1.4. Okay, so whole numbers are still whole numbers, whether you're talking about fractions or decimals. And then fractions and decimal parts are the same. Decimals. Okay. We can solve it with the decimals in there. So to do that, I'm going to add 3.1 to each side to get that x by itself. So I have 2.6x is equal to 7.9. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2.6. Well, I don't know what that is, so. So move each decimal one spot. 26 will go into 79 3 times, yeah, so 78. That is 0.0. No times. Another 0. 3 times. And that's probably going to be over 5. Do you agree? So that means this will round to 3.04. Okay, well, we can also solve it by getting rid of all the decimals. So I'm going to multiply everything by 10. And that's going to move each decimal place over 1, right? So I have 25x plus 45 is equal to 95. And then I can solve it from there, and I don't have to deal with any decimals. So I get 25x is equal to 50. Divide by 25. And x equals 2. So if I had just, let's say I had the same problem basically. but I had that.
Okay.
So this has 2 decimal places, so because one of them has 2 decimal places, I'm going to need to multiply by 100 to clear out all the decimals. So then this would be 250x plus 450 is equal to 955.
Okay, good.
Does anybody want me to finish this?